Hey guys, it's True Cubing, and in this video, we're going to be showing you cool patterns for every WCA puzzle. Let's get started. So first up, we've got the N by N puzzles. Now since these are all basically the same thing, just extended versions of each other, the same patterns can be applied. So first up, the easiest one by far is the checkerboard pattern. So first, for odd numbered cubes, it's pretty easy. For 3x3, all you need to do is an M2, and an E2, and this equator layer, and an S2, like that. And that creates a checkerboard pattern. For 5x5, it's the same thing, except we have a few more layers. So you can do an M2, and then an R2, and an L2. Same thing for the E layer, and for the side layer. Like that. For the 7x7, again, it's just a few more layers. M2, and then a slice here on the right, and a slice here on the left. Same for the middle, and for the side. And there we go. Now for even layered cubes, it's a bit more tricky, but it's still rather simple. All you need to do is slice on the right, slice in the middle, and slice on the right again, and then slice on the U layer, like that. For the 4x4, it's just double the number of layers. So slice on the right like this, and then slicing at the front, like that. Notice how it's one every 2 layers that I'm slicing, and then slicing those right layers again. And finally, you can end it with slicing the U layer. And for 6x6, same concept again. Slicing one every 2 layers on the right, then slicing one every 2 layers on the front, and then slicing again on the right. And then we can finish it off by slicing on the U layer. So this is how you make the checkerboard pattern on the cubes from 2x2 to 7x7. Now they do look a bit different for the even layered cubes, but it's still called a checkerboard pattern. It's just they have no fixed center, so this is how they look like. Now for the next one, it's basically just like a repeated dot pattern, and this can actually be applied to the 2x2 because it has no centers, but this can be applied from 3x3 to 7x7. So for 3x3, all you need to do is slice in the M layer, then in the E layer, and then undo those moves. So M prime, E prime. Now for the 4x4, it's going to end up with the same results as for the 3x3 because it has no extra center. So we can slice in the middle layer, and the E layer, and then undo those moves. Now for the 5x5, you can do the same thing. So slicing an M layer, E layer, and then undoing that. And then you can slice even one more time by doing a small M, small E, and then undoing those 2 moves. This creates a pretty pattern, which is just 3 colors cycled in like a dot pattern. For 6x6, again, you will get the same result as for the 5x5. There we go. And for the 7x7, you will get one more layer of dots. So we can do big slices. Then we can go 2 more layers smaller. So we can do slicing with 3 layers. And then slicing with 1 layer. And there we go. This next pattern is called the Superflip, and again, it can't be applied to the 2x2, but it can be applied from the 3x3 to 7x7. So to do this, it's pretty simple, but it can take a while. So you go M prime, U prime, M prime, U prime, M prime, U prime, M prime, U prime. So M prime, U prime 4 times. And then you have to rotate down and then across, and then repeat that process 3 times. Rotate down, across, and 1 more time. And there we go. Now we've got all our edges flipped. Now we can do that same thing for the 4x4. And there we go. We can't go 1 layer further because it has no fixed center. So again, it's the same result as for 3x3. For the 5x5, you can do that same thing again. And now we can slice 1 layer further. So to do this, we're going to slice in the middle layer like this, and we're going to use 2 layers for the U prime. Like that. Rotate down across and repeat that process 3 times. There we go. Whoops, just realized I swapped the 6x6 and 7x7. So for the 6x6, we will get the same result as for the 5x5. There we go. And we can do it one more time with 2 layers for the M slice and 2 layers for the U slice. And there we go. Finally, for the 7x7, so we can slice with 5 layers in the middle. Rotate. Like that. And then we can use 3 layers now in the middle and 2 layers on top. And now we can do it with 1 layer in the middle and 3 layers on top. And there we go. This is one of my favorite patterns. It just looks really nice on the 7x7. You can also apply this to bigger cubes like 9x9, 11x11 and so forth. And it looks really cool. Now for the final pattern of the 2x2 through 7x7 is the cube in a cube in a cube. Now this pattern is probably the prettiest, but it's also the hardest to do. Now what I used to do is just build the pattern like if you solve a regular cube, except this can be really tricky, especially when you get past 5x5. I personally managed to get this from 2x2 to 5x5, but it was too tricky to do 6x6 and 7x7. So you can either try this out for yourself, or you can use the algorithm which will be on screen. So the algorithm goes U prime, L prime, U prime, F prime, R2, B prime, R, F, U, B2, U, B prime, L, U prime, F, U, R, F prime. And that gives you a cube and a cube for the 2x2 because there aren't more than 2 layers. The same algorithm goes for the 3x3. It's pretty simple. And there you go. Now, as you slowly step your way up in the number of layers on a cube, you'll have to change the algorithm slightly. So we can do the same thing for the outer layers. There we go, that's all of the outer layers. And now we need to modify the algorithm so the moves you're doing have 2 layers in them. So we can repeat the same algorithm, however, each U will become a UW and so forth. And now you will have to do this algorithm one more time. And there you go, cube in a cube in a cube in a cube. The same concept applies to 5x5, so we can first solve the outer layers. And then we can change the algorithm to include 2 layers in it. And there you go, cube in a cube in a cube in a cube in a cube. Okay, I want to stop saying that. Again, for the 6x6, same concept. Now we've done the outer layers, we can do the next step in, which is by using 2 layers. And finally, we can use 3 layers in our moves. And we'll have to do this algorithm one more time. And there we go. Okay, same concept on 7x7. Let's first do the outer layers. And now using 2 layers. Now we do the layers of 3. And there we go, a cube and a cube and a cube. Yeah, you get the idea. Now let's move on to other side events. So for Pyraminx, I have 2 patterns to show you. The first one is basically the Superflip, and the algorithm goes U, R, L prime, U, R, L prime, U, R, L prime. And then you need to align the tips so that there are 3 different colors on each face. Like this, and then don't forget to do the back one as well. And there you go. The algorithm for the next one goes U, R, L prime, U, R, L, B, U prime, L prime, B, and then U, L, R, B for the tips. It's basically the same thing, except now all the centers are swapped. So for Skewb, I only found one pattern, and it's basically like a cube and a cube, except the corners aren't twisted. So to do this, you can decide which 3 colors you want to swap. So if I want to swap these 3, what I need to do is move this green one to the back here, and then do a U-perm on this layer. So sledgehammer here and sledgehammer here, and then bring that side back. Now we've rotated these 3 centers. Now we can do the same thing for these 3. So I can move the blue one to the back and then do a U-perm on this layer, and then bring that side back down. And now we have this pattern here where 3 centers have been cycled. I'm guessing you could also rotate this corner and this corner to get that cube and a cube pattern, but I haven't been able to figure that out. So if you guys know, just leave it in the comments down below. For clock, there is no specific algorithm for this, so you basically just have to solve the clock into that pattern. And you could do that for any patterns on any cube, but for this cube especially, there is no algorithm that I found. But yeah, it's pretty intuitive if you know how to solve the clock. There we go. And finally, after a bit of messing around, we've got this pattern. So all the clocks are going in an anti-clockwise direction here, and on the other side, they're going in a clockwise direction. So there you go, that's a pretty cool pattern, and probably the only one that you can do on a clock. Now for the Megaminx, this is one I like to call the Snake. So it's pretty simple. You basically go R, U, R prime, U prime, and then rotate, and do that same algorithm over and over again, until you get to this position. And now all these slots have been exchanged. Now you're going to rotate 180 degrees and do the same thing but on the left, so it looks like this: L prime, U prime, L, U, and then you rotate the other way. There we go, and this is the pattern. So there's like sort of like a snake pattern going up and down like that. Now this last one is a Superflip, but on the Megaminx, there's no alg for this, you just have to build it. So basically I just make the cross all flipped like that. There you go, and now we've got the Superflip on the Megaminx. Finally, for the square one, I'm not very experienced, but I do know a few patterns. So the first one, you basically misalign this layer by 1, slice, and then go -1 on the top, -1 on the bottom, slice back. And then you can move both layers across 90 degrees, and then do the same thing. And then move it across 90 degrees again, and you have this sort of like star and cross. If you mess around, you can also get variations of this. So if I do this, you get only like the cross on the top, and now I only have the crosses on the side. So there you go, there are some patterns for the WCA puzzles. Hope you learned something. If you have any questions, leave them down below. And if you like the video, please leave a like or leave a like. I can't speak. If you like the video, please leave a like or subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video.